Hey bluebirds, and welcome to another trip between the clouds we softly call the tube. We have a super special show for y'all, so let's get started. It's been almost a year since we hosted here in our studio the founder and CEO of SkyTran, Jerry Sanders, a man set on the idea of changing worldwide mass transit forever. SkyTran, for those who missed our enthusiastic reports, is a futuristic mass transit system based on magnetic levitating personal pods, and it's supposed to be greener and cheaper than any other available technology. Last week we reported another step in the direction of making Tel Aviv the first city in the world to host this revolutionary concept, as the Israel aviation industry joined SkyTran's effort towards a first working pilot. And tonight, an in-depth interview with the people behind the vision. Still no idea what I'm talking about? Here's a quick reminder.
The streets contain vehicles to take people here and there. But as the community grows, the number of cars in the community grows. More and more vehicles begin to crowd the streets. So, new roads are built. But these fill up too. New highways are added. And with these new roads and highways, congestion increases. Surely there must be a better way. There is. Let's take that same neighborhood, but instead of building roads for cars, let's add SkyTran. SkyTran's low-cost elevated tracks are quickly assembled. The high-speed, spacious SkyTran vehicles whisk you to your destination directly, safely, and efficiently.
With us in the studio to discuss this groundbreaking innovation and the forces that are trying to hold it back are SkyTran's founder, Jerry Sanders, and IVI's head of commercial robotics, Ran Breyer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's our second time already.
It is.
So let's start with the question everybody wants to know since last week. Why does Israel's aviation industry have to do with this project? Why does it want to join it?
Okay, first of all, Israel aerospace industry is dealing with innovation for many, many years. And we are all the time leading a lot of innovative products, like we have started with the UAVs, in the type of UAVs that you have the Hero missile, counter-ballistic missile, which is the only and the first to be operational in the world. And also, well, since about 2003, have entered to robotics in many fields, in military robotics, now in civil robotics. I'm the director of the Civil Robotics Directorate, and our leading product now is a TaxiBot. It is a semi-robotic vehicle to take airplanes from gate to runway and back without using the jet engines.
So it sounds like a natural combination.
Exactly. So it is a natural combination to another step of the most interesting part of what I am doing in the civil robotics is dealing with transportation or solving problems of transportation or logistics or many other things.
I can tell you from our vantage point regarding IAI, our vehicle is in effect a small airplane. And we were looking for a company that was capable of making this small airplane and innovating as it was designing it, because this is an innovative system. It's an airplane that flies on a magnetic wave. And it's a very sophisticated piece of technology. And while we looked all over the world at various companies that could do this, what struck us about IAI is not only its technical and engineering depth, but its can-do spirit. There was not an issue or a question or a challenge that we posed to IAI upon which they stumbled. They always had a way to figure out the right answer, and they never considered that something would block them. There was always, if there's a problem, we'll figure a solution.
You know, people are very curious about the cooperation with NASA that SkyTran did. How does this cooperation differ from NASA? What's going on with the NASA corporation?
Well, the NASA corporation exists. We're what's called the NASA Space Act Company, and that's fundamental and basic to our existence. What NASA provides us, in addition to logistical support, wind tunnels, hardware, software, access to NASA engineers, is its knowledge on dynamic mobility. Nobody knows more about dynamic mobility, meaning motion of people in space, than NASA for obvious reasons. So with that expertise, we're able to combine the best of avionics and aviation from IAI with the best of space travel and movement from NASA. Really, this is a unique combination, one we're very excited about and very proud for, and I think it has tremendous potential for IAI in the state of Israel, because we're going to be making a lot of SkyTran vehicles and systems, and there will be a lot of export from Israel because of that.
So let's talk about the choice of choosing Tel Aviv as the first base for the SkyTran pilot. Why Tel Aviv?
If I could first perhaps just mention briefly for those of your audience who don't know what SkyTran is exactly.
Okay.
Imagine that you're looking down on your morning traffic and cars are bumper to bumper and buses are spewing diesel and there's no room to move and traffic isn't going. And you're looking down, flying along, looking down at this traffic, and you're getting to your destination in a matter of minutes.
Like we're seeing in this animation right now on the screen.
That's SkyTran. SkyTran allows you to go above the traffic and above all the mess that's happening down below at high speeds, privacy. Tel Aviv, as you know, because we discussed this last time, was selected by the Wall Street Journal as one of the top 3 cities in the world, and there's good reason for that. Tel Aviv is one of the top 3 cities in the world, whether it's fashion, technology, restaurants, cafes, energy, spirit, and the mayor of Tel Aviv, Ron Huldai, is unique in being open to capitalize on what Tel Aviv has to offer in order to bring even more technology and new ideas. So he's not one who's afraid of new ideas. He's one who welcomes new ideas. And for us, it was a great opportunity to launch the system here.
So I'm the little citizen of Tel Aviv. I want to know, is it going to be more expensive than a regular taxi drive or a bus drive? Do we have an answer for that already?
Well, we don't have a firm answer, but there's no reason that it would be more expensive than a taxi, because we're going to have lower costs than taxis. And so if we amortize this, spread this out over a number of years, our best estimate is that our price will fall somewhere in between a minivan and a taxi. Mm-hmm. And we can have differential pricing for tourists, students, senior citizens, and veterans. So we're able to actually adopt the pricing to the market.
Okay.
Look,
yes.
Answer to part of those questions we will be able to do when we will finish this stage that we are now in a technologically study. Mm-hmm. Basically, see what's the technology and how it could be implemented in full scale. This is the step that we are starting to do now in IAI. By the end of next year, we will have a technology demonstrator in full scale, and then we will be able to do at least the first study to see what else we need to develop, where we are standing, what will be the cost of doing everything. And then I believe it will be much clear to everybody, the feasibility of it and where it will be the best way to implement it.
I think that's right. I'd just like to add to that. 1 year from now, this company, SkyTran, is going to be a very different company than it is today. 1 year from now, SkyTran will have proven technology, demonstration systems, and the world will be knocking down our door to get these systems and get them quickly.
But I want to talk about the year that just passed. What are first of all, the hurdles ahead of us, okay? And what was holding it back since July last year, since we last met?
Well, as my colleague Ron said, never underestimate the power of bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. And Israel has very strong bureaucracy, and it's a country of laws. And so bureaucrats follow laws and regulations. SkyTran is new. There's never been a vehicle or a system like SkyTran. So it's very difficult to take this square and put it in a round hole. And the bureaucrats, and I don't use that term in a derogatory fashion, but I use it as professionals in the various ministries, have to basically invent regulations, invent standards, invent the rubrics within which SkyTran will fall. For one example, is SkyTran a car? Is it a train? Is it an airplane? The answer to each one of those questions impacts the regulatory pathway.
So the problem is now more bureaucratic than technological, if I understand correctly?
Look, the answer, if it is only bureaucracy, will be in 1 year from now. what we need to know now is if the technology on the full scale is feasible. And this is what we are doing now. I hope that in 1 year the answer will be yes, and then the potential is very high.
Yeah, I think
Then we will need to fight bureaucracy and to find. I personally don't believe in creating new type of regulations. I believe
working
in
with the regulations that exist.
Yes, adapt and see where we can fit in the existing regulation. Changing them, it will come later.
Yeah, those are good points, and I think another important factor is once the SkyTran system is up in full scale at IAI, it's going to be very difficult to resist it because it's like this pile of candy and everybody's going to want to eat it. And so I think our task of adopting regulations and working with the bureaucracy will be much easier because we will have answered all of the skeptics' questions.
But talking of skeptics, why do you think people are still having such a hard time to believe in the system?
Why do abused wives stay at home for so long? We've been abused by public transportation. Everyone has been beaten down to believe that we have to pay these companies massive amounts of money from government funds in order to build these monster systems that basically ruin our life. It's very hard to reject that when you've grown up with that mindset and accept that life can be different. And we're going to show that life can be different.
On the other side, though, we've been hearing about SkyTran for quite a time now, and that other cities in the world are interested, and we still haven't seen it happening.
We've been very cautious, and that's true. We have taken our time, but the reason we've taken our time is because we want to get it right. And it took us over 1.5 years to negotiate with Israel Aerospace Industries to reach this point. And we were very firm on wanting to work with Israel Aerospace in order to get the best vehicle, one that would be reliable and fail-safe. We could have gone with a lot of other vendors. We could have built systems in India and China, but we wanted to do it right the first time. There's a saying that you can do it cheap the first time, and then the next time you'll have to do it expensively anyway. We want to do it the right way the first time, and for that reason, if it takes another year, it's another year well worth spending.
Okay, let's talk about the ecological side of SkyTran, because now we know that it's cheaper and it's more ecological, right? Am I right?
That's correct.
For sure, because it is an electrical system. In the end of the day, everything is magnetic and driven by electrics.
Magnetic, cheaper, electric, time saving. So is this our near future? Yes or no? When am I going to buy my first ticket?
I think you'll be able to get on a commercial SkyTran within 3 years if we get through the regulation.
You agree with that saying?
Look, my experience, okay, because as I said, I am now developing also a green technology for taxiing airplanes and so on. It took us 6 years from the stage that we are now with SkyTran, from the starting the technology demonstrator. It took us 6 years, and now we are in the certification phase. Just the final step before implementing it commercially. So I believe that if it will be between 5 to 10 years, it will be very, very nice.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We have to finish. Thank you very much for both of you.
I'd like to add one sentence.
We have to finish. We're on the clock. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much again. And we'll see you all on the SkyTran in 3 years or tomorrow in our show. Right now. Okay, and to wrap up this futuristic special, it's a good opportunity to dig in our classic viral video crate and pull out this 2008 viral commercial for Barclaycard, imagining the perfect train system to the workplace and back. Now that's a ride we'd love to take. Yeah, that's fun and scary all at the same time. That's it. This show is over. Thank you very much for watching. Log on to our Twitter and to our Tumblr. It's TheTube24. We're waiting for you there, and we love it when you log. And always remember, in the vibe of this futuristic special, it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Who said that? Take a guess. Is it me? No, it's William Shakespeare. Okay, goodbye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow.